In a quaint American village, a humble mechanic's existence was set to transform eternally when a tycoon and her impaired daughter entered his garage. What unfolded next is a tale of optimism, compassion, and a remarkable wonder. Please hit like, share, and subscribe. Then let us know your location. Now let's dive in. Tom Harris was a diligent mechanic in a tiny American hamlet, renowned for his knack with vehicles, yet plagued by financial woes. At 38, he had toiled most of his days in his small shop, mending motors and restoring old cars to afford meals and shelter. His attire was tattered, his boots aged, and his hands bore permanent oil marks, yet he held a silent pride in his craft. Tom never grumbled, though he yearned for a brighter future that felt unattainable. One sweltering noon, as Tom was shutting his workshop, a sleek black sedan stalled before his place. He hurried out and saw a lady emerge, poised, graceful, and clad in costly garments. She presented herself as Sophia Bennett, a prominent business magnate. In the rear seat was her 12-year-old daughter, Ava, a gentle girl seated quietly in a wheelchair. Tom noticed her delicate build and tender eyes, brimming with hope and sorrow. While fixing the car, Tom's gaze kept drifting to Ava. Her wheelchair was worn, its wheels creaking with each shift. After completing the car repair, he kindly inquired if he could inspect the chair. Sophia seemed taken aback but consented. Tom studied it meticulously and offered to mend it at no cost. Sophia's brows lifted, unaccustomed to such kindness, but Ava's face glowed with a grin. For the first time in weeks, she felt genuinely valued. That night, Tom lingered in his dimly lit shop, diligently restoring the wheelchair. He swapped the shabby wheels, reinforced the structure, and polished it until it gleamed. But Tom went further. Ava's hopeful smile stirred his soul profoundly. He started drafting a design for a support brace, a tool to aid her in standing. He wasn't a physician or inventor, just a modest mechanic, but he trusted in compassion and resolve. He labored night after night, forgoing rest and meals to realize his vision. Sophia observed his dedication when she returned for the wheelchair. She saw the oil-stained mechanic, weary but beaming, presenting not just a fixed chair but also his budding creation. "Why do this?" she asked gently. Tom glanced at Ava and said, "Because every kid deserves a shot at hope, no matter the odds." Sophia was astonished. Her life had been filled with people chasing her riches, yet here was a humble man offering his time and heart without reward. It marked the start of something extraordinary. The day arrived when Tom brought the finished support brace to Sophia Bennett's residence. His heart raced with anxiety as he stepped into the opulent mansion, a world far from his own. Sophia greeted him warmly, though her eyes held skepticism. Could this truly succeed? Tom knelt by Ava's wheelchair, speaking softly. "You're tougher than you know," he murmured. With care, he guided her into the brace. The room fell quiet as all held their breath, anticipating the outcome. Ava's tiny hands gripped the brace's handles, her legs quivering as Tom supported her. For a moment, nothing occurred, and Sophia's heart dropped. But then gradually Ava's feet moved, one step then another. Though wobbly, she was walking for the first time ever. Sophia gasped, tears flowing as she rushed forward, hardly believing her eyes. The humble mechanic had granted her daughter what top doctors and vast wealth couldn't. Sophia knelt, sobbing as she embraced Ava tightly. "I knew you were brave, darling," she whispered through tears. Then she turned to Tom, voice shaking. "You've given me a miracle, more than all my wealth ever could." Tom stood silently, tears welling in his eyes. For him, it was never about gain. It was about hope, about seeing a young girl embrace what every child should. He had no words, only gratitude that his work succeeded. Days became a week, but Sophia couldn't forget Tom's generosity. She reflected on how he gave his time, effort, and heart without seeking payment. Most people she knew were driven by avarice. Yet Tom had nothing and gave everything. Sophia made a choice. She wouldn't let his struggles persist. One morning she arrived at Tom's modest shop, not with a faulty car but with attorneys and villagers gathered outside. Tom, puzzled, stepped out, wiping oil from his hands. Sophia smiled through tears as she handed Tom a folder. "These are documents for your new auto repair business," she declared. "Fully funded, fully equipped, and in your name. You'll never struggle again." The crowd cheered and Tom stood stunned, speechless. For years he'd been impoverished, overlooked, and striving. Now through one act of compassion his life had transformed. The humble mechanic who gave hope to a young girl had not only changed her future but found his own miracle.